I think it was based on that this is his friend. Then I'm getting high every day. And they are liberal parents, but I think they're like, this one. Yeah. So they gently also tell him to tell me. So then it's been a month. I'm at that guy's crib. I decide now to go where? To Busheng. I go to Busheng, my dad gives me transport back to Kampa. That very day. He's like, yo, me the best I can do is give you transport back to where you're from. Gives me transport. I go back to Kampala. Then I really, really hit street for 1.5 years on street. Friend's place, blah blah blah, bar, a mixture of a lot of things, a combination of a lot of things. But you see, when you're not productive, people can't stay with you. When you're adding no value to the table, people can't stay with you. So sometimes I crash at a guy's place, but this is a guy who was just finished university, because that's the equivalent. That's where I'm supposed to be, just having finished university. So he's in a 1-bedroom apartment, Muzingo Diro, you know what I mean. Then he goes, and you know when you're just starting out, the way you're being pushed, and you're doing all the donkey work. So you come back, you leave at about 5 in the morning. You come back. So I either, if you're very accommodative, sleep with you in the same bed, or sleep in the other room, because you know it's 1 bedroom and then one, that's the setting, and one sitting. Or I sleep in the sitting room. But then you leave me at 5, 6 in the morning. You go to work, you come back later in the day, I'm high. You left me high. The place is a mess. I mean, you get, and then the first thing I'm doing, I'm asking for money to go get high. It's only 3 days and maximum you're like, get out. You get, you're not putting any food on the table. You're not even cleaning the place. But all this was character building. But so I'm shifting from one friend's place to another, but eventually I become a burden. Then I become a laughing stock, because the people are like, you know how the world will judge you and laugh at you and vomit you out. So now people are like, I'm on. So now people don't even want to chill with you. Even when you go to the bar, by 7 people, you see people at 7 are intentionally avoiding you, because they're like, because that's what I would do. But like 7, I know I'm hanging on to this guy. Then around 9, when he wants to go back home, I'm like, hey man, I have to stay, man. Can I crash at your place? So eventually, even our social circles were starting to literally avoid me. So now I start dumping myself down to the low lives. By now, from baras to now kafundas, you get. I am literally identifying and assimilating myself with society's really marginalized and discarded groups, and that's where I find my comfort. You get, and we literally sit at the bar, the kafunda. I don't know what's the English word for it, but anyway, I literally I identify myself there and make a home for myself and do an odd job here and there to get a quick buck, so I can, I can sustain the somehow. Like in those 1.5 years, I was high every day. I don't know how it would be pulled off, but I was high. Either through handouts, either through manipulation, either through theft, but I would get high. So yes, so I started, literally sometimes things would be bad and I would sleep in the kafunda or outside the kafunda. It didn't matter. Me, objective, I have to be high. I was now getting hospitalized due to alcohol-related reasons. I mean, you're getting high every day and you're getting high on cheap alcohol at that, and you're not eating well. So it takes its toll. So you start losing. You generally unhealthy life, low sugar, blah blah blah, da 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 da. Like I would vomit for a whole day. Like my system is really fighting that I need to get this alcohol out of my system. So I was hospitalized once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, I think. And when I'd get hospitalized, all they would do was put glucose in my system. I was gonna die. And I was at that point, and I was also looking at death as not so bad an alternative. Family had literally discarded me. Society had vomited me out, but only after laughing at and marginalizing me. So I'm on the street 1.5 years. It's too much that the human soul should take or can take. And so one of those days, I'm vomiting non-stop, hospitalized, blah blah blah. I get a phone call from my sister, like, yo, how are you doing? I'm like, man, things are tough. Because now, you see, the mask is off. I'm literally at life's end, lost all hope. It's a dangerous place to be. And I'm like, you know what, to hell with life. And so she calls me, and I'm thinking, there's nothing to life anymore. Like, hey, how are you doing? And I hadn't probably heard it from her in like a year. Because everyone had now, by the time I was just from home, everyone had said, you know what? Everyone, I think, self-evaluated and said, we've done our level best. There's nothing more we can do for the individual. And so I go to... So she calls me. Apparently, she's telling me that she just felt strongly in her spirit that she wanted to call me. So she calls me and says, hey man, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, fine. I always had a small phone because I was always asking for handouts. Such was the mindset. I realized my street life was harder without like a small phone. So I always had a small phone, and I had my old line. I still have that line till today. So basically, anyone who had known me, say from S4, who would have my number, if they had ever got my number. So she calls, and I tell her, man, things that she's like, I really want to help you. And me, I'm thinking I may not survive probably another day. Combination of the body giving in, combination of maybe I just go myself. So I'm literally at the point where I'm like, life isn't really worth it anymore. So she calls me and tells me, yo. So I narrate and say, you know what, these things are tight. Me, I even want to die. I want to kill myself and stuff. I don't know how serious I was. But I was emotionally low is an understatement. And then she says, hey, I want to help you, but you need to go to rehab. I'm like, hey man, fine. At that time, it was a place to sleep and where to eat, because even that was now a luxury. I got to a point where to sleep and what to eat is a luxury. So I was like, rehab. What I hear about rehab is that food and rest. Because me, that was a very big thing in my life now. So I said, hey, fine. Because even I was not guaranteed where I was staying another night. In fact, I wasn't allowed another night. They had made it clear where I was. I'm like, now, tomorrow, probably I was going to die on their watch. And they're like, what problems are we getting into? So I say, yeah, fine. So the next day, she says, hope on I was in Mukono. Trust me, street found me everywhere. So that time I was in Mukono. So I hop on a border, I meet her in Nakawa, and she brings me to Tincha. and the trajectory just changes. So I give my life. Initially it was, man, I just want a place to sleep and what to do. But I met Christ literally in Teen Challenge. For the first 4 months I was playing games, same old pattern as before. But I can't really put a finger to when in the first 4 months, but I literally met Christ. I gave my life to Him, and things started to manifest themselves. As I was saying earlier, you can pretend, but the fruit will always manifest its seed, or the seed will manifest its fruit. And so slowly Christ has been taking His shape in me, but it really started in the first 4 months. I mean, when people say, when did you get saved? Me, I can't really say the thing. But so I just said the first day I came to Teen Challenge, which was 12th of July 2016. So that's when I got saved. But I know it was within the first 4 months at Teen Challenge. I always believe that everyone who comes to Teen Challenge, the people they meet there were the people they are supposed to meet. When God is dealing with us, one of the major things I've come to realize, He loves using our people. So, what do I mean? The students that were there and the staff that were there at that time. Most of them are still around, at least the core anyway, of the staff. But it was a combination of the people. I got a lot of people that I got along with that helped me, and I got a lot of people that rubbed off the wrong way, but they were really exposing the things God wanted to deal with in the first place. So first things first, the people, the staff personnel. I mean, for you to, I see it now, but for you to spend time and devote, because being a staff at Teen Challenge is a devotion. It's a literal sacrifice. It becomes part of your life. I know every profession, every career, every purpose is intertwined in your life, but this is a whole different level, because you're adding what you're dealing with to what other people are dealing with. So me, that wasn't, because I was a self-centered person, very selfish, very, very, it's me, and a little bit of me more. And to see people who are willing to help you, people who are willing to hear you, people who are willing to believe in you. Me, I'm not saying this. Okay, baby Joe, daddy, dada, but my sister, my mom, but you get to see people you don't know. Okay, things are not making sense. So, emphasizing first on the staff who really impacted my life in regards to, especially the things that I've just said. Believing in me, giving me time, listening to me. Never seen it. And for no value for themselves, but all for you. That for me was new. I thought these guys were mad and having nothing to do with their lives. Some of them I even shared it to them. I'm not understanding your plot, but it's kawa. But me, if you want advice, busy. You're wasting your time. Then also the students. I think the difference with the students and the staff was that the students, they weren't conscious of that. It wasn't like they were being intentional, whilst the staff were, but they were also chipping off me, both in a good and a positive way, which is a natural how God disciplines us. He builds and breaks, builds and breaks, builds and breaks. What's not of Him, builds us. So that is one. Two, the serenity of the place. It was the first place where all junk was cut out. in terms of what we feed on a day-to-day basis, the media. Because if you trace why I even got I indulged in the things that I indulged with way back in Intari, it was the height. It was the influence of 50 Cent and whatnot, or Western culture and their whatever they like presenting and packaging it like it's so cool. So all that rubbish was cut out, and you only feed on Christian, Christ-centered material. That is one. Two, the everyday life. Now, me, every day I wake up at 4 a.m. Yeah, those things are waking up at 5 to get, because if you can start the day well, then you're increasing your chances of having a good day and having a productive day at that. So why am I just giving, okay, I'm using the example morning hours, but really what they were doing was building certain habits through the curriculum, through the programmings or the programs, waking up at 5. And that for me was, don't know how many times, I mean, you can't testify how many times I was punished for not waking up in the morning. Even tried to devise means and mechanisms how I could, not attend morning devotion. So now it's, for example, I talked about my brother, my older brother, how he had a lot of influence. A lot of who I am today, waking up very early in the morning, blah, blah, blah. Even the whole working out thing, I've taken it to a whole new level. In regards to, because it's here that I really got incorporated into the whole physically getting myself in check. I wasn't doing it right initially. I wasn't eating well. Depending on your goals, whether you want to bulk up or slim down, it's here where it really became, because it's where I trace back, where did I really start on a day-to-day basis working out here? Where did I start waking up in the morning? Every day now I wake up early in the morning because I have a lot to do, and if I can have most of the day to do it, then so wake up here. So it's the programming, it's the habits that I learned here. Being even clean, like cleaning, the learning, like there's some things that life I jumped over that God said, okay, now let's do from here. So personal habits here, Christ here, developmental character in terms of what the staff were throwing at you in the program itself. You get the materials, and also the students. So it was holistic in regards to what they threw at me. Everyone has their fair share of things that they're going through. Everyone can only point you in a certain direction, but can never really genuinely give you the solution. Everything you're going through is a byproduct of what you do from a day-to-day basis. Until you're put into a situation where you can make a choice, then you can never know where you lie. If you are confided in a very high secure area, you're not going to live your life like that. So if you want to desire change, how do you expect to obtain that change in a place where you're locked up? You're going to go to a place where you're not locked up, which is usually your home, your workplace, and every other facet of your life. Are you going to still make the right choices? So a liberal setting, and I believe that's the right approach, it shows you where you lie. It gives you the power of choice. Now, power of choice is a powerful thing because it builds your character. It really exposes where you belong. You get my point? And it adds the discipline that is necessary when no one is watching. And that's what is sustainable. Not when you're told what to do, where to go, how to sit, when to stand. When you're put in an environment where you're not given those restrictions, you're most likely going to get exposed because certain things weren't dealt with before that are dealt with, that could have been dealt with if there was a certain sense of liberty. The 1 year, I feel Pastor Derivin told me that it was not enough and I almost wanted to kill him. I said that story because that statement, it messed with me. But I tell you, for example, my own, I know I need to be quick, but for my own example, I thought I was only coming for 4 months. When my sister made that phone call, the package was, you'd go for 4 months. So I even entered, I even tell her, hey, this thing is 1 year, I'm here for 4 months. That's what they told me. But they knew if they told me a year, it would be a problem. But let me tell you, 1 year is not enough. Now you're saying 1 year, me, I'm saying it's not enough. Pastor Dero was right. Because there, for example, we didn't, and I'll be honest with you, because I don't lose anything. Yes, there's certain freedoms that you obtain here, but you don't have the freedom of females. I told you I had a lot of, especially in those conservative schools, I had a lot of issues with the females. So when I did go out of this, because I was not really tested in that area or really given the liberty, I'm just showing you. When I did go out there, it was one of my initial problems. So 1 year to deal with problems that have accumulated for 14 years, to me, is a stretch. I feel, of course, if I really entered the program knowing what I wanted, 1 year is enough. But 1 year in itself, to be an advocate, is not even enough. Fully, because there are so many issues we need to deal with, so many areas our character needs to be dealt with.